So the only part of the speech that was disappointing was the part about Gaza. Now, a lot of people, I guarantee you, will look at that speech and go, oh my God, she handled it perfectly. It was so balanced. She said, we love Israel and our heart breaks for October 7th. But hey, Palestinians are also human beings and we care about them. And wouldn't it be great if they were free and independent, right? She didn't even say independent, but good enough. She believes in a two-state solution. Two-state solution is American foreign, is official American policy, as she stated. Is that enough? No, of course not. Because those are just words.
Yeah.
And we've been doing words all along. She's pretending she cares about Palestinians, but we sent $26 billion after they killed 40,000, like around 36,000, I believe at the time, Palestinians. At that point, they'd already killed 25,000 women and children. That's a stadium full of dead women and children. We sent them $26 billion as a thank you. She made no policy changes or even hinted at any, and she won't have it.
There is nothing left in Gaza. They leveled Gaza. There is nothing for Palestinians to live in, to deal with. I mean, it's just, maybe this is too harsh, but this is what I believe. Kamala Harris will change absolutely nothing in response to Israel's atrocities in Gaza. It'll be a continuation of Biden's policies. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Nothing will change. Nothing.
Yeah. Are those policies worse than Biden's? No. I mean, the portion of her speech that talked about it wasn't really a policy. It was just words, right?
Literally the same.
It wasn't any worse than Biden's. It wasn't any better than Biden's.
Exactly.
Is it better than Trump's? Yeah, but Trump's a maniac. That's not a good standard, right? So that part was at best mediocre. So that's
awful.
Yeah.
Mediocre is not harsh enough. It was awful. It was a continuation of Biden's disastrous failed policies that are brutalizing and killing tens of thousands of innocent people, likely more at this point. We're going to find out after the rubble is cleared and we see all of those dead bodies, carcasses underneath that rubble. It's disgusting. Okay, so that totally killed the excitement I felt about her speech. I'm just going to keep it honest.
I know, but Anna, you know so much more than the average person, right? The average person is going to see that part of the speech and go, that seems balanced. She cares about Israelis. She cares about Palestinians. That seems lovely.
That's why I'm here to explain that no, it wasn't lovely and it wasn't balanced. It is a continuation of our government taking our money and funneling it to a far-right government that is committing atrocities against innocent people in Gaza and the West Bank.
Yeah.
Period.
So last thing I'll say about it is, I'm just not surprised. Of course, she was never going to, and if you were expecting her to have good policy on Gaza, I'm sorry that your heart was broken, but there was no way she was going to do that. I was a little extra disappointed because she spent more time talking about how Israel has suffered than Gaza has suffered.
Israelis are people, they're human beings, right?
Yeah.
In the eyes of our government, Palestinians not human beings.
So 40 times as many Palestinians have been killed. If you were going to be proportionate and balanced, you would have spent 40 times the amount of time on the suffering of the Palestinians and the Israelis. There's nothing wrong with saying the Israelis have suffered. They did, right? But of course, she's not going to spend 40 times more, but at least give us a sense of proportionality. And if you didn't know that issue at all, and all you heard was Kamala Harris's speech, you would have thought 40,000 Israelis have died and 1,200 Palestinians have died, not the other way around. Okay, so now, we told you the good and the bad, right? But overall, a really great speech. And I hate that Gaza has marred this speech a little bit, and of course her entire run. And there's an easy way to fix it. If you say we're going to withhold the money, there'll be a ceasefire tomorrow. But they don't have the nerve to do that, okay? And that's really disheartening. But all the other things, that does not wipe away all the other things we said. All the other things are true. Two things can be true at the same time. She can be fantastic on some policies and bad on another, okay?
Yep.
So
it's the dialectic.
Right. And by the way, Trump is even worse on Gaza and way worse on all the other policies. Okay, so now, but we are not naive. If she wins, we must hold her accountable. Now, the good news is in this speech, And in this campaign, she is giving you a pathway to hold her accountable. Not on purpose, accidentally. Let me tell you what it is. Number one, she keeps emphasizing we are not going back, right? They've said that hundreds of times, we are not going back. So if on a policy position, she goes back, we all need to unite together as Americans and start chanting, we are not going back. We are not going back. You can't tell me, then this is what every Democratic candidate does. And I don't care if you love Democrats more than you love your own mom. You can't tell me that Democrats don't give you a ton of promises and then don't deliver on 80% of them at a bare minimum and then go, good enough, you should be happy, okay? No, this time you don't get to make promises and then go back because we are not going back. And the second slogan they have is, when we fight, we win. Okay, so when you're in office and if you go back on any of your promises, we're gonna fight. And when we fight, we win. So this doesn't just apply for Kamala Harris. So the reason I'll speak for myself. The reason I loathe Donald Trump is because he's so selfish. He doesn't care about anybody else. All he cares about is himself, right? And now Kamala Harris, we just told you, did a great job of talking about how she cares for the people and for everyone else. But if you go back and then go do everything that your donors tell you, I know they're gonna do a ton of things that the donors want. They're not gonna give us everything. But if you go back to that same 5-10% BS and go, oh, here, I gave you some crumbs off the table, ha ha ha, for the people. Hell no, when we fight, we win, and we should fight her if she does that. So guys, it's one thing to get excited, and here we have gotten a little bit excited because they have done progressive things, populist things in a way that was totally unexpected for the Democratic Party. Keep that excitement. I think between her and Trump, it's the biggest no-brainer of all time. Easy, very easy. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, definitely, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that you then go, okay, then they're my angels and they're my saviors, and I'm just gonna go home, right? No, you hold them to account. If you don't hold them to account, then your excitement in this moment was about Kamala Harris's career rather than all of us and sticking up for the average American. I don't care about Kamala Harris's career. I don't care about Tim Walz's career. I care about delivering for the American people. Pass the bills, pass the bills. Keep all of us, keep your eyes on the prize. The prize is not their glory and their status. The prize is the bills that affect your lives and make your lives better. So if you want your life to be better and you care about these policies, again, between Harris and Trump, it's a no-brainer. But just electing her isn't enough. Let's go vote. Let's go make a difference. And then let's hold them accountable.
And let me just say one other thing. I'm going to say it right now, okay? So you guys, flip it, keep it, because I'm going to go back to it. I don't know, 4 years from now, 8 years from now. If the Democrats, if she gets elected and they pull the same old BS, next election cycle, when there's some other generic Republican running and they try to fearmonger to us about how dangerous the Republican is and you have to choose the lesser of two evils, I am done. I am done. I'm not going to buy it anymore. It's time for Democrats to understand if they don't work for us, we're going to work for them. Period. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the same argument every single election cycle.
That's right. And what they've done, and what's different here, guys, is that they've reignited hope a little bit. And
barely.
Hold on. That the upside of that is great. We feel terrific. I love hope. I literally started a thing called Operation Hope, right? And that has partly helped to get us here, right? But hope is a dangerous thing because once it starts, and they've started a little bit of a kindle here for that fire, then it turns into a brush fire, and then it turns into a wildfire, and you can't contain it. If you then let us down on that hope and go back to politics as usual and serving the donors, that fire will consume the Democratic Party as well.
There's no recovery after that, okay?
Yeah, that's right. Because look, for a lot of folks, Obama was their first round of hope, and then
crushed them.
Yeah, and they got disappointed.
Right.
Right. And then Bernie was hope, but they crushed him.
They crushed him.
That's right. Now, Tim Walz was the beginning of hope, but Kamala Harris gave a great speech tonight. And overall, I would say it's a home run. As I said earlier, inside the park home run, not perfect, right? But it got there. But after you hit a home run in your acceptance speech, and after you pick a great progressive who got things done in Minnesota like Tim Walz, if you don't deliver on that hope, there will be accountability.
Yeah, and that accountability will impact the entirety of the Democratic Party because the fear mongering is not going to work anymore. You have to choose us because everything's on the line isn't going to work anymore.